Welcome back, Captains. My name is Derek Slide, and I'd like to talk to you today about Captain skills for destroyers in patch 0.5.3 for World of Warships. I've got my Russian captain out here, ready for inspection. So let's take a quick look. I'll explain the philosophy. These videos really are for, how could I put it, high-tier gameplay. So we're going to go ahead and avoid talking too much about the lower tiers, but I will tell you which skills to look out for, which ones would affect your lower tier gameplay, and why you wouldn't want to take them for low tier gameplay specifically. If you were going to keep a low tier ship, it wouldn't pay off for you. So Russian destroyers are pure gunboats, and for that reason I took situational awareness, I took basic firing training to improve my fire rate, expert marksman to improve the rotation of my turrets, advanced firing training so that I have extra range. The high velocity guns that the Russian destroyers have can benefit greatly from the increased range. Superintendent for the extra smoke and speed boost. And the reason I took that over torpedo acceleration is, some of you may not know, but the Russian destroyers, the torpedo range is already quite low, and their torpedoes are usually quite fast. So this is not the kind of choice I would make. Of course, I'm probably going to end up going concealment expert, just to lower my detection range even further with this build. Although there is the option to go for a more aggressive build and go with demolition expert with 4 points here, and then spend the rest in survivability skills. As you can see, I don't have last stand yet. That's something you're going to want to get. It's something I want to get. But first I would like to get my concealment expert, and then with my last two skill points I was going to get last stand. You could play more aggressively and play more aggressively by taking demo expert, so long as you remember to include last stand. As in a Russian destroyer, your engine will be out every 5 seconds, along if you're being fired at, and your steering gears as well. That being said, preventative maintenance doesn't seem like such a bad choice in that if you're just looking at the skill, but this is a trap. It's not going to perform as stated. It's not going to be as good as simply having last stand. This is something that has a 50% chance of working. This works all the time. So last stand is significantly better and costs significantly less. So that's why I would take this over this any day of the week. And if you look at the rest of the skills, none of them really apply to you. Jack of all trades is still bad. So that's not going to help you. And of course, last chance, why you would take 5 points so you could shoot 30% faster when you're under 10% life is beyond me. The times it will save you will probably be something like 1 out of 1,000, so that's not statistically significant. Plus the condition is just really crazy. I mean, you have to be down to 10% life. That's way too low. You know, something like 20 might be OP, so I don't know. 15's the happy middle ground, but even then, that's not a lot of life, guys. So it's probably not something you want to do. So those are Russian destroyers in a nutshell. The captain skills I'd recommend you take. Like I said, demo expert is an option if you want to play more aggressively, and last stand has to be taken when you have the points for it. But everything else you see here that's taken is pretty much how I would build it, along with concealment expert. Let's take a quick look at the American. Now they're the jack of all trades, right smack in the middle. Now my American destroyer is built as a fleet escort, and when I say that, it's because I've taken vigilance in this package, not the torpedo skill. So this build is more of a team build. Situational awareness will allow me to know when I'm detected, always vital. Last stand will keep my ship moving or turning if my engines or steering gears get damaged, again, always vital. Much more vital than anything else in this tree. Vigilance lets me see torpedoes further out. Now the reason I took this and not the torpedo speed buff, even though the torpedo acceleration is great for the gearing, is because I would like to see these torpedoes come at me, and therefore my fleet, before my fleet gets hit by them. So if my fleet can see them, if I'm screening properly and they can see the torpedoes, then I win. I've done my job. And that's what I'm looking for. I play it in more of a team role. which is why I took Survivability Expert instead of Demo Expert. Demo Expert assumes you're going to be shooting at battleships or cruisers to start more fires. Fires are hardly going to help you kill an enemy destroyer. Usually it's just an avalanche of HE shells and he finally dies. And Survivability Expert is going to help me kill destroyers, because if they don't have Survivability Expert, I have 4,000 hit points more than they do, or 3,600 in the case of the Fletcher. That's a huge boost, so I have the advantage. You know, if we're both competent, both at the same skill level, I will win just because I have more hit points. There's more room for RNG to play with me there than there would be for him. Finally, Concealment Expert to reduce the range at which I'm spotted is super important. No other tier 5 skill is worth taking for any of the American destroyers. They're just not good, and you got to remember, no destroyer has secondaries, with the exception of some Russian destroyers, and I don't think that it's worth taking a 5-point skill just so you could shoot one secondary gun on the Russian destroyer that much more accurately. At least I certainly wouldn't recommend it. So as a different build, you could go far more aggressive and take Demo Expert and Torpedo Acceleration. Now keep in mind, your concealment isn't that high to begin with, so if you lower it down to, I think it's 6 kilometers is the lowest, your torpedoes are going to get lowered from their 11.5 to somewhere around 9. So you have much less room to work with. But that being said, your torpedoes will move out much more quickly, not that they don't already, and you'll probably get more hits. So it's definitely a more aggressive build. You could mix it in with a gun build, so long as you don't forget your last stand. You don't need Expert Marksman on American destroyers. Their guns turn already very quickly, so it's just not necessary. Basic firing training will help you out if you want to go more of a gun build along with Demo Expert. I don't recommend advanced firing training, and I'll explain why. If you've ever played the Atlanta, or you've ever played an American destroyer, and you've seen how high their shells go before they hit a target, if they hit, it just gives too much time for that person who's being shot at to move, to get out of the way. I mean, when you can dodge destroyer shells in a battleship because they take forever to get to you, you know that's really probably something that as if you're the one shooting, really probably something you shouldn't be too enamored of. So advanced firing training isn't going to help you as much as Demo Expert. At least when you hit them, you have a higher chance of starting fires and therefore garnering a little bit more damage. That would be my suggestion for the American destroyers. When we go over to the IGN destroyers, which are my particular favorite at the high tiers, this is pretty much how I think most people are going to set them up, with the exception of perhaps Survivability Expert. This one can be traded out. I just like my survivability. The more hit points you have in a destroyer, I feel the more you can work with, the more aggressive I can be against other destroyers that don't have Survivability Expert. I can go after them with my guns, and I have a better chance of taking them out. That sort of thing. So, situational awareness. This must be getting old for you guys. You see, every single one of my builds have this, but really, I mean, the information of knowing when you're spotted is priceless. Literally. You could see it on one of them Visa commercials or whatever it is. Priceless. Is it MasterCard? I don't really remember, but I know it's a credit card commercial. Then we got Last Stand. Again, amazing skill. The only problem is it conflicts with your torpedoes reloading faster. So it's kind of a trade-off. The good thing is that if you want to take this skill later, you can, because 17 points isn't that hard to get if you play a lot or even consistently. So you could get that once you're at 17 points. You could get the little bit of extra reload on your torpedoes. Definitely for high tier, I would say 6 and up Japanese destroyers, torpedo acceleration is good. If you're 5 and below, torpedo acceleration is a death sentence to you, unless we're talking specifically about the Umikaze. And this goes for every other destroyer as well. On the American line, the Mahan up can use torpedo acceleration safely. Everything below can't. You'll screw yourself over. And Russian destroyers should not use torpedo acceleration. Even with the Khabarovsk, I don't think it's worth it. They're gunboats. They're not going to get the same benefit. So, just so you guys know, in case you're at tier 5 and you have your 3rd level skill available and you're like, Oh damn, Derek told me to get torpedo acceleration. Well, yes, but wait till you're tier 6 and you've got the 10-kilometer range torpedoes in your Matsuki, and then get it. So just pace yourself. Save those points. Don't take it when you're in the Minakaze. You'll come back and you'll rage at me, and I'll be like, but I told you so. So let's look at tier 4 abilities. Survivability expert here. We got 4,000 hit points extra on my Shimakaze, and like I said earlier, it's just, again, if I fight an enemy Shimakaze, he has less hit points than me, and we're equally skilled. I'm gonna win that fight. So now, what are your options at tier 4 aside from that? Believe it or not, advanced firing training is an option. The extra range it affords you allows you to play more of a gunboat role if you're going to take concealment expert. Problem is then, how are you going to get the points for the demo expert? You could just take demo expert. There's a lot of different ways you could play it. I mean, this video is not about modules, but I think that the Shimakaze has the most flexibility, because you also got gunfire control system here that increases your main battery range. If you were to take it, you'd actually have enough range to compete with an American destroyer. So you could, along with having powerful torpedoes, actually be able to play kind of a backup gunboat role if you wanted. And you'd be especially dangerous just due to the fact that, if you take demo expert, the amount of you could forego AFT, your fire chance is so high in the Japanese ship that it's 9% plus 3, 12%. I think maybe the Russians are higher. Let's check. But it gives you an advantage. No, they're lower. It gives you an advantage that you're not going to get otherwise. And as you can see, the Fletcher only has 5%. It's 5, 7, and 9. So it's a possibility. Do I recommend it? No. I think my build is pretty much straightforward and pretty much what you should be going for. You shouldn't be relying on your guns nearly as much as the other destroyers. They should be backup options for you, and they should only be used, if you're being chased by a destroyer or you see one, and you can get some extra damage in for free without endangering yourself. There are no cruisers, i.e., nearby. Then you fire your guns. So, I hope this helps. Its intent is just to quickly talk about the skills I picked, why I like these skills, and hopefully you can take from that, leave what you don't like and use what you do. Maybe I've shown you a different point of view, and hopefully helped your game. So with that being said, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you liked, and if you have any comments, just leave them here. I'll be checking them regularly and leaving an answer if necessary as soon as possible. Alright then, be well and have fun in World of Warships.